Mom?
Oh, I didn't see you there. Hey! So today is day 5, and we are doing unity. And we are learning about our word of the day, which is with nepenthe. And that means something that makes you forget grief or suffering. Our speaker today is Reverend Gray Temple, the great author of this book, and When God Happens, Gay Unions, 52 Ways to Help the Homeless, and my personal mentor and friend. We are going to hear a wonderful song from Jillian and Ramsey Hall, Blowing in the Wind, and our own Ethan Scott is going to be also singing a few things for us. So I hope that you have a great and blessed day, and I'll see you later.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we'll know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. And I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
And now I'd like to introduce to you my mentor, my friend, Gray Temple, author of The Molten Soul, Gay Unions, When God Happens, and 52 Ways to Help the Homeless. I hope you get a lot from his wisdom, as I have.
Hi, folks. When Julia gave me this assignment, she gave me 2 words. One was unity, that's the word I'm supposed to talk about, and the other was nepenthe. Wasn't entirely sure what I was supposed to do with that. Would you believe that last night, the man who taught me to read Homeric Greek 60 years ago called me up on the telephone, and we had a conversation about memory loss at our age? Phew. It's hard to believe in coincidences some days. Now, we're communicating right now by Zoom or something like that, and that's the way we've had to do our friendships and relationships for the last number of months. And if I were to ask you for a show of hands to list the disadvantages of having to do relationships this way, I think we'd all miss our supper. But I want to point out to you right now that it does have one advantage, and I want to call your attention to it. Having to communicate this way with each other gives us, ironically, an opportunity to develop unity. Let me show you a picture. I don't know if you've seen this before. Some of you may recognize this particular picture. Now, I want to ask you a question about it. Are these folks in a state of unity as a community? At first glance, probably easy to say, of course. But let me ask some questions about it. Who's a woman and who's a man? Can you tell? They can't either. Who's good at chess? Can't tell that. Who flunks driver's ed? Can't tell that. The reason is that uniformity is not at all the same thing as unity. An American philosopher once remarked, when you give people their absolute freedom, they mostly just copy each other. And a whole lot of people anxiously copying each other results in clumps of people who look and sound like each other. But let's don't call that unity. Show you another picture. Here it is. You recognize those folks? There. Let me ask you something about it. How uniform are those people? Well, other than their anthropoid bilateral symmetry, they're not very uniform. Rather than being in uniforms, each of them is unique. But you've seen their movies, you know these folks are tight. They've achieved unity in spite of not being able to copy each other. Like you, I spend a lot of time each week on social media. Suppose I wanted to copy the people I'm with. Heck, I don't even know if any of them are wearing pants when I'm looking at them. Months ago, men and boys were getting the sides of their heads cut short and leaving the top to grow and get curly and all like that. It looked dorky to somebody my age, but nobody asked me. They did it anyway. But these days we're all shaggy, each of us in our own particular way. Unity develops in a community when members learn to prize each other's uniqueness. Get that? When you learn to prize each other's uniqueness, that's when unity starts to happen in your group. But learning to appreciate what's unique and peculiar about each other is the glue that bonds us together. And there's a further advantage to pursuing unity in this community that you're in right now, online. None of you live in the same neighborhood, or very few of you do. You represent different schools when you even go to school. So the kinds of pressures to conform that you face every day when you have to go to school don't operate here. You can experiment with actual friendships between boys and girls, because it's going to be a long time before you can do as much as hold hands, if even that. That's a fresh opportunity you haven't had for a while. The barriers between who's cool and who's not cool are more porous in this setting than they would be back at school or in your neighborhood. The discoveries that are awaiting you all promise to be thrilling and life-giving, simply because of the reduced possibilities. Now, is there a trick to it? Yeah, there is. And it's an important trick in just about every department of life. Teach yourself to prefer understanding to judging. It's better to understand than to judge. And you can't do both at once. The minute you judge somebody or judge something, your understanding has hit its ceiling. It's not going any further. I want to give you an example. I used to be a college chaplain, And one day, a graduate student came bursting into my office, angry, and threw herself down in a chair and started cussing about a math exam she'd just taken that she knew she'd flunked. And I said, "Wow, you're a good math student. What was the course?" And she said, "Non-Euclidean geometry." And I said, "Well, come on, that's not that difficult. Why'd you flunk it?" She said, "Because I didn't believe it." She'd already judged it, and so, of course, she couldn't understand it and couldn't pass an examination in it. Now, don't ask me how I learned that pattern about mathematics. And that's true of people too. You know from your own experience that when somebody calls you a geek or a nerd or a jock or whatever, they don't really understand you. It works the other way around as well. When you decide what kind of person somebody is, you think you understand them. I promise you, you don't. No, but if you stay curious about them, curious about the other people, and you don't judge them, you'll not only come to really get them, but you'll find you love them. A group of people that's learned to be interested in each other, learn to delay judging each other, come to understand each other, and they're going to wind up loving each other. Now, look at the faces on this call. I can't see your screen, but I can imagine it's like a lot of ones I see all week, where everybody looks like a stamp in a stamp collection album. God has given you this group of people so that a bunch of people understand you and love you. God wants you to understand and love them back without judging them. That's why God put you in this group. And it's got to be part of the reason that God is allowing us to have to conduct all our relationships and all of our friendships this way. God bless all of you and hold each one of you in God's care. Mighty good to be with you.
Hey, Liz Beal Kid here, and I am going to show you about our art project for the small groups today that we have on day 5, our Unity Day. So I've been walking around and seeing some of the great hearts and things that are out there that people started to put at the beginning of the COVID times, and sometimes people are putting them in their windows, but also when I'm on the nature trails, I'll see like a little rock that's painted, or there was a fallen tree and the stump was painted with a heart. And the really intriguing things, I think, are the ones with the hearts with the little message on it. So I thought that I could tell you all the things you're going to need to gather for your small group today. So don't really stress out, because if you don't have a lot of art supplies, that's good. But I want to show you some things that I found around the house. I have some paint pens. Those work. I have some paint brushes and a paint sponge. Those work. I have some paint right here. I have some spray paint. And then I found some materials to paint. So I had a bunch of old pieces of wood. This is how I found out that this paint pen is dead. Right there. But we have old pieces of wood. We have some rocks. And I even have an Amazon box right here. And what I did was I just turned it over on this side and I started to paint. So I did a heart. I did some little things all around it. Just little tips are, if you do a light color on it, it'll kind of pop more. See how I have kind of an outline here, so I'll probably go over that. And then we're gonna put them in different places. So I just wanted to show you some examples. So on this one I put let's unite, but you guys get to put whatever message has meaning for you right now. On this one I put the Black Lives Matter, and I'm probably gonna put this along a trail or something. We'll do a different video for that. This one says love one another. I think that's probably a really great thing for us to remember right now. Some people say it's the most important commandment. I think I would probably agree with that, because kind of all the other commandments can be boiled down to this. So I'll put that somewhere too. And so that'll be the next video, what you would like to put on your hearts. And also you can be thinking about some places you'd like for them to go. Okay? Thanks. I'll see you in a minute.
Hi, this is Bobby, and this is where I'm going to plant my rock.